here.
I'm gonna go ahead.
As follows: counts 1 and 2 is murder in the first degree with a firearm.
Okay. Now, the reason why I believe he has taken this plea, accessory for murder, is one thing. When they hit you with that double M, the 2 first-degree murder charges, in Florida state, there is no discretion of the judge in sentencing. It's automatic life. Automatic life. Okay? Now, granted, both murder charges are connected because most likely if they don't think one charge is for juvie, one is for sack chaser. Most likely if they think you didn't kill one, or they wouldn't think you killed the other. However, keep in mind, this is the guy who drove to the hospital with the body. Now, does it mean this murder charge means he had to do the shooting? But no. It could mean that they believe he was with the plot. Doesn't matter. Remember, the guy who drove to the bank for the bank robbery is guilty of the bank robbery too.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Now, I know some of y'all are super thugged out in here. Y'all said, man, fuck a life sentence. What? But when he was only facing 30 years, he was like, they added the murder charges afterwards to make that nigga know, oh, you think we only want Melly? We'll fry you too. I think that made him think a little bit different. 4 life sentences make a nigga think differently. Let's keep playing.
Those are capital offenses. The maximum and mandatory penalty is life in Florida State Prison. Counts 3 and 4 are accessory after the fact to murder.
Did somebody say you could spin a proffer? Bro, this case has been going on for 7 years. They're not hoping he gives them new information. They're hoping he just puts on record.
That's a long ass time
what
now.
the fuck happened? They're giving him a proffer for him to confirm what they're.
He did it the third time. No, he didn't did.
Let me not act like he did, but like they want him to confirm what they know, not tell them some new story. So the moment he tells some new story, they're gonna push this whole process back. And what's going to happen is they're going to investigate that shit. And if he's lying at all, the shit's out the window, you go to jail. They're not going to let this nigga spin him. Are you crazy?
First degree. Those are each first degree felonies. The maximum penalty is 30 years in Florida State Prison.
Okay. Sorry.
3 and 4 are accessory.
Okay, so the accessory to murder are 30-year 30-year sentences. And there's accessory murder for 2 people, so that's why it's count 3 and 4. So the first 2 are murder for sack chaser, juvie, then accessory for sack chaser, accessory for juvie. So 4 charges.
After the fact of murder in the first degree, those are each first degree felonies. The maximum penalty is 30 years in Florida State Prison. In case number 23106.
Now that's his first case. So his first case has 4 counts. 2 murder charges, 2 accessory for murder charges, or accessory after the fact charges.
4-3 CF10A. You're charged at count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony. That is punishable by life in Florida State Prison.
Damn.
Now, they got him for tampering. I forgot where that came from, but while they were, they believe he was in communication or he did something weird in Melly's trial to try to like prevent them from get to evidence or prevent someone from being able to truthfully testify. And that's actually crazy. Tampering with evidence or witness in a capital offense trial also carries life. Jesus Christ.
Count 2, directing the activities of a criminal gang. That's a first degree felony. Again, punishable up to life in Florida State.
Okay, so they get tampering with evidence. And then the second one is directing a street gang, which they're going to call YNW a gang.
Count 5 is conspiracy to commit tampering. Again, as it relates to a first-degree murder charge. That's
some wild shit, bro. To be going on for 7 motherfucking years. Putting this on for 7 years.
You damn near decade in that motherfucker.
Your whole life
trying to see what's too soft. You trying to see what's too.
Your whole life in that bitch, gang. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Punishable by a
now it's conspiracy to commit tampering.
Penalty of life in Florida State Prison. And count 7, unlawful use of a two-way communication.
The reason why they're jumping 1, 3, 5, and 7 is they double up every count because 2 people died. So 1 count is for Sack, other count for Juvie. Okay? Like, for example, if somebody killed 20 people, they're going to have 20 counts of every type of violence against those people. They would have 20 murder counts. Okay? So a murder charge, but 20 counts of them.
Communication device as charged, that's a second-degree felony. The maximum penalty is 15 years in Florida State Prison. So, sir, again, before the agreement you made with the state, before the deal you made with the state, your maximum exposure here was life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years in Florida State Prison. Sir, do you understand all the pending charges and the maximum possible penalties involved? And it's my understanding that you want to resolve both cases today. Is that correct? Yes. And that resolution is an agreement you've reached with the state, the terms of which are as follows. Number 1, in the 19 case, you're going to plead no contest to both counts of accessory after the fact. In the
Okay. So he's pleading no contest. Now, I keep trying to tell you, we don't give a fuck about his plea. What he's going to be adjudicated for, he's going to have to stand to answer to. Okay? So he's pleading no contest because he's going to get found guilty. Okay?
23 case, you're going to plead no contest to all 4 counts as charged. In exchange for that,
They're going to drop the murder cases.
the state is going to null process, that is, drop the 2 first-degree murder cases.
Bingo. Okay. So let me explain this. I'm doing a laborious job of explaining what's happening here. Because I really see some people who's like they're trying to see light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm not here to be an oracle. I'm not here to be like Miss Cleo. I'm just here to tell you what I see, brother, and just tell you the truth. He was charged with 2 homicides. They carry life in prison of Sack and Juvie. The deal he signed, they're not going to prosecute him for murder. But he pled no contest for accessory after the fact. By the way, that's what they think they were going to get him on anyway. Him pleading no contest doesn't matter. You're going to hear the judge say, I adjudicate you guilty. No contest don't mean nothing no more. He's guilty. That plea will say guilty. It don't say no contest. It says guilty. Okay? So you're going to hear the judge say it. For everybody, I've seen people tell me, could you switch up your tweet? It was actually no contest. The judge said guilty, nigga. I'm sorry. Like, get out of your fairy tale land, and the proffer is going to have to work off of the guilty. That's how it works. This is court. This ain't a little fairy tale where niggas just do one type of bullshit and just come back home and make more killer songs. It don't work like that. I love Melly. But some of y'all delusional motherfuckers got to get up to date. Okay?
I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Yes, sir.
Do y'all...
That's outrageous. Yeah, man.
This ain't a driving offense. This ain't going 45 and a 25. It's murder, you dumbass niggas.
The 2 first-degree murder cases. All right? I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Yes, sir. In exchange for that, the state is going to null process, that is, drop the 2 first-degree murder cases. All right? I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Yes, sir.
But the proffer.
He hasn't said what he's... They no process. So the prosecutor... So just like how... And this is how it goes. No process, the prosecutor saying that to the judge. The judge has to... You know a prosecutor... I've seen this happen. A prosecutor could come with a plea and the judge say, fuck out of here, I'm not taking that. The judge has to take the judge has to decide whether he's taking the plea. So you give recommendations, the judge always decides. So you could say I'm not guilty, then you go through a trial. You could say I'm guilty, then you go to a sentencing. You could say, based on an agreement, I am not contesting, and then the judge does what he wants to do. In the prosecutor's sense, the prosecutor could do what they call null pros, means we have no intention of prosecuting that, and if the judge accepts it, those charges are dismissed. No pros means they could file them again later. Okay? They could file them again later. But the judge accepts that you and by the way, sometimes there's actually a whole thing about judge accepting no pros stipulations, and then later the prosecutor is trying to go back with it, and the judge is like, no. But that's another
they
thing.
didn't go smoke
okay?
Melly, man. They didn't infinite
Anyway, they cut him off, but they were going to tell you
Yeah.
what he's adjudicating them guilty.
Fam gotta go proper. It's over with.
What's happening with that?
That would be no problem.
So he's only going to plead to the tampering with a witness in a capital felony, conspiracy to commit tampering and unlawful use of a two-way communication device?
Just the tampering and the unlawful use.
Just an unlawful use of a two-way to the tampering with a witness.
Okay, so then an audible comes in, which, by the way, you know, the judge is later going to say this is an incredible plea. But,
Man, the man just said tampering with the witness and still get your ass life.
Lawyers. But essentially, what I do.
Okay, what the man say? Tamper with witness, punishable in the state. The judge is saying this, punishable in the state of Florida, life. Why I'm pleading out to this, fam? Like it's murder. Y'all took the murder away. You still can knock me upside my shit for the tampering, fam. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So he going down. That's Melly rapping.
Anyway, yeah, you gotta
This
go.
is rapping right there.
You gonna get some time, but he got the proper
Ooh.
agreement. So that's why they probably still gonna knock his ass out of here with a dub 25-20. Hold this.
Do think that if he was going to be found guilty, he was going to be found guilty of accessory after the fact, not murder, which he was pleading no contest to that, and no contest, he was going to get adjudicated guilty anyway. So what ended up happening is that they cut the judge off, or not cut the judge off. They basically said, no, the agreement isn't for him to plead NOLO. Well, actually, I think he did. He pled NOLO to
Once goddamn it, motherfucker, police
accessory
over
after
it.
the fact. However, the deal is for that not to be adjudicated guilty, and the judge is actually kind of weighing on it because the prosecutor is telling him. You know what I mean? Like, again, this is like a business like agreement almost.
Happening with that?
That would be no problem.
So he's only going to plead to the tampering with a
Okay, so never mind. The lawyer said, not the prosecutor said it's no process. So it appears that the accessory after the fact they won't prosecute. So it's essentially dismissed.
happening with that?
That
Hold
would be
on,
no-
let's see one. Here.
What's happening with that? Guilty? Yes, sir. What's happening with that?
That would be no problem.
So he's only going to plead to the tampering with a witness in a capital felony, conspiracy to commit tampering and unlawful use of a two-way communication device?
Just
Yeah,
the
like,
tampering and unlawful use.
Just count 1 and count 7.
Correct.
State you're going to null process count 2 and count 5,
Correct, Your Honor.
as it relates only to Mr. Henry.
Correct.
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, what it's going to be is 2 counts of accessory after the fact, tampering with a witness in a capital felony.
Okay, never mind. I was wrong about that. That was the 23 case. It's a little bit confusing because they interrupted the judge. Okay, so it looks like he is pleading guilty to the accessory, which again, once you plead guilty to the accessory.
What it's going to be is 2 counts of accessory after the fact, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and unlawful use of a two-way communication
You're
device.
fried. You're
In
getting
exchange
time, a
for
lot of
that,
it.
I'm going to adjudicate you guilty
Was that
on the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in
Okay, now I need for the slow ones in the back. Remember, he pled no contest or NOLO. I want to hear, fuck what he said. The nigga's in cuffs. I'm not listening to him. I want to listen to the judge. The only thing that matters is when the judge says, I'm going to adjudicate you. Basically, the nigga's guilty. This is a plea deal. So for everybody who kept saying, nah, he pled no contest, nobody gives a fuck. He's guilty. Okay? Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck what he wants. He's guilty. Let me just play it one more time for the slow ones in the back who kept saying he pled NOLO. Listen to the judge.
tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and unlawful use of accessory after the fact.
Hold on.
With a witness
Correct, Your Honor.
as
Here we
it
go.
relates only to Mr. Henry.
Here we go.
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, what it's going to be is 2 counts of accessory after the fact,
2 counts of accessory after the fact of murder,
tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and
tampering with the witness in a capital felony,
unlawful use of a two-way communication device. In exchange for that, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count.
I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Remember, in court, it's adjudication. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty of the 2 accessory after the fact charges. I'm sorry, I got to slow down for the ones in the back.
I'm going to adjudicate you guilty
Pep,
on
what's
the
that
2
word?
accessory
What's that
counts
word,
as well
cuz?
as the tampering count. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years.
So, good. So he gets adjudicated guilty for accessory after the fact for both murders and for tampering with like a evidence or witness or something. So it's 3 charges. So 3 counts of 3 charges he got adjudicated guilty for. It doesn't matter what he pled. The rest got no prost, which the judge then dismisses. The judge is going off the recommendation sheet on the plea deal, though. That's why he's giving this sentence out so quickly. So for the dumb ones in the back who said nolo or no, this is not he pled nolo. He got adjudicated guilty, not for murder. Nobody thought he killed the guys. For accessory after the fact, he got adjudicated guilty.
Exchange for that, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in Florida State Prison. That will be followed by 6 years of reporting probation. In the unlawful use of a two-way communication device, that's a 2nd-degree felony. The maximum
It's a
exposure,
3rd degree, Your Honor.
it's the 2nd.
Man,
as
you
charged.
know we just goddamn it in the mix,
3rd, except as it relates to a capital.
checking out all this goddamn me
Happy to look it up.
telling going on.
Well, what did you want the negotiated sentence to be for that?
That was just going to be the maximum of time served.
5 years? Is that what you want me to do?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Again, this is the prosecutor. I believe that's the woman who's the prosecutor.
He already at 15 years right now.
She's doing her thing.
With 6 years
But I ain't gonna lie, this is a
of paper
sweetheart
when he
plea.
get up out that motherfucker.
Let me tell y'all this. You think they wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars to give this nigga a break? When have you ever heard the justice system do that? They adjudicate him guilty of accessory to, they call this one of the most heinous murders in Florida state history. This is why they won't let the nigga out of jail for bail, and he's been locked up for 6 years. They adjudicated this nigga guilty of accessory after the fact. You think they're doing this to just say, oh, go home? Come on, bro. They're doing this because they want this nigga to sing like a Tweety Bird. They want him to sing like Aretha Franklin. Sing like C Breezy. Sing like SZA. Yes. Remember, he ain't do the proffer yet.
All right, so, sir, as to that count, it's going to be adjudication of 5 years in Florida State Prison. So the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count, those come with 6 years of reporting probation after the Department of Corrections sentence. I'll give you credit for all the time that you've served in both cases. All of those counts will run concurrently. All those sentences will run concurrently. All counts in all cases, that is at the same time with each other. I'm going to have to impose mandatory court costs. I'm going to order restitution payable to Terry Bagley and payable to Ashley Phillips and reservists to the amount. I'm going to give the state 120 days to tell me the amount of that restitution. If they fail to do so within 120 days, there will be no restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys agree on the amount, I will impose that as another condition of your sentence to pay back that restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys do not agree on the amount, I will conduct a restitution hearing. Sir, lastly, I want to make it very clear on the record,
Smoke his ass for
unrelated to this negotiated
200,000.
I guess at some point after the fact, the state wants to take a proffer.
You hear this?
Negotiated change of plea. I guess at some point after the fact, the state wants to take a proffer from you or have a discussion with you, ask you some questions about whatever that may be. What I want you to understand, sir, is I guess that's part of this negotiated resolution, but your answers to any of those questions, whatever they might be, have no bearing on me and have no bearing on this negotiated resolution. In other words, the deal you've negotiated is the deal you've negotiated, and that's the ballgame. Do you understand all that, sir? Have you had enough time to talk to your lawyers about all that? They've answered all your questions? You're sure that that's what you want to do?
Now, when he's saying your answers to the questions, the judge is saying, I'm not a prosecutor. I'm not here to tell you you got to do whatever. You can do whatever you want. The deal includes a proffer. Whatever you and your lawyer do in that proffer, it's on you. Now, you got to remember, a proffer agreement is something that they could use. It is something, remember, it's queen for a day, unless you go up in there lying. If you go up in there lying, there is going to backfire. So basically, that's what the judge is saying.
Because I want to emphasize, Mr. Henry, and I'm going to do this again at the end of my plea colloquy, whether you resolve the case by way of a negotiated plea or an open plea to me, or you resolve the case by way of a trial, it doesn't matter to me at all. But due to the resources that have been devoted to this case, I have 250 jurors summoned for jury duty starting tomorrow. So I want to be very thorough with you here this afternoon, because if you wake up tomorrow or the next day and you decide you've changed your mind and you want to resolve this case, both cases, by way of a jury trial, that's not going to happen. All right? If you want to have a trial, the trial starts tomorrow. If you want to accept the deal, you can accept the deal today. But there's not going to be any buyer's remorse, in other words, because I've given you plenty of time to think about this, talk to your lawyers about it, talk to your family about it. I talked to you about it last week. Kind of looks like your lawyers probably did something or other to get a better disposition for you as of this afternoon. But this is it today. So understanding all that, you've had enough time to talk to your lawyers about all that. That's what you want to do. So, sir, has anyone forced you, threatened you, or coerced you into entering these pleas? If I accept your pleas, there will not be a trial in either one of these cases. Do you understand that? If I accept these pleas, there's a whole bunch of constitutional rights you are giving up. I want to make sure you understand all of those rights. You have the right to maintain your plea of not guilty and have a trial in each case. You have the right to present defenses, to file motions and other pleadings in support of your defense. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have the state prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to confront and cross-examine the witnesses against you. You have the right to appeal any decisions that I may have made up to this point, or any rulings I might make in a future trial. But understanding, by entering this negotiated resolution today, you are giving up all of those rights. The matter is going to be resolved today, right now, this afternoon. Is that what you want to do? Are you satisfied with your lawyers? Have you had enough time to speak with them? Have they answered all your questions? Are you satisfied with all the work that they have done for you? Sir, I've got two identical plea forms here entitled Plea of Guilty or No Contest to Criminal Charges in Circuit Court. Each one has your name on the top, your initials on the left-hand side, front and back, and your signature on the back. Did you go over both of these forms? Any questions about what's on either of these forms? And is that your signature on the back of each form? Sir, there's a few things that I need to tell everyone that I take a plea from. They may or may not apply to you. If you are not a citizen of the United States, these pleas will result in your deportation. Do you understand that? Under the provisions of the Jimmy Rice Act, if the offenses to which you are pleading are sexually violent or sexually motivated offenses, or if you've been previously convicted of such offenses, then these pleas will subject you to an involuntary civil commitment as a sexually violent predator upon completion of your sentences. Do you understand that? If these are drug offenses, the Department of Motor Vehicles will revoke your driver's license for a period of 1 year. Do you understand that? Sir, paragraph 11 of each form that you sign reads as follows. I acknowledge that my attorney and I have reviewed any discovery disclosed by the state. My attorney and I are unaware of any physical evidence for which DNA may exonerate me. In other words, sir, if there's any physical evidence in the case that we could test for DNA, that DNA evidence would not tell me that you were not one of the people in that vehicle when these crimes occurred. But actually the opposite would be true. If there was any such physical evidence that could be tested for DNA, that DNA evidence would tell me that you were one of the two people that was inside this vehicle when these crimes occurred. Sir, do you agree with that statement? State, do you agree with that statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you agree with that statement? Mr. Henry, understanding everything that I have talked to you about up to this point, do you still want to go ahead and resolve both cases today, right now? Defense, is he stipulating to a factual basis for the purpose of each plea in both cases?
Yes.
And if he's entitled to a PSI defense, are you going to waive that as to each case?
Absolutely.
State, is there anything else that you need me to do before I take his plea?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, again, 2 cases. We're going to do one at a time. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A, as to count 3, accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree, and as to count 4, accessory after the fact as to murder in the first degree. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? In case number 23, 10643 CF10A, as to count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and count 7, unlawful use of a two-way communication device. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? I will accept your no contest pleas as to each. I'm going to find a factual basis to support each based upon my review of each electronic probable cause affidavit as well as your stipulation in court here today. I'm going to further find that you have freely, voluntarily, and intelligently waived your rights, that you have knowingly entered each plea with the advice of competent counsel who you've told me that you are satisfied with, that you understand the nature of the charges and the consequences of the plea. Accordingly, and pursuant to the negotiated agreement, I will sentence you as follows. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A, as to count 3 and count 4, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 years in Florida State Prison. That will be followed by 6 years of reporting probation. I will impose mandatory court costs. Pursuant to 943.325, I will need a set of your prints and DNA. Pursuant to 938.27, I will impose a cost of prosecution of $100. Sir, I'm also ordering restitution in that case payable to Terry, T-E-R-R-I, Bagley, B-A-G-L-E-Y, and Ashley, A-S-H-L-E-Y, Phillips, P-H-I-L-L-I-P-S, and reserving as to the amount. I'm going to give the state 120 days to tell me the amount of the restitution. If they fail to do so within 120 days, there will be no restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys agree on the amount, I will impose that as another condition of your sentence to pay back. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys do not agree,